dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. I think that might comfort you.
You say sweet love.
Yeah, I'm about to say make sweet love.
That's young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro.
Now people
Not
don't
in your
know.
day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to you? And when you come out of there, look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was smart. Like I didn't think about that. I say things to the borderline, like, I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
I do all the time. Cause I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not shit. This is I'm just saying. No, stop it. You set that up. You set that up. This dude, he's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. Nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like, girls, guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. You can't dress him up like that.
No, it's jokes.
That's like the White Chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that was
away with Wifey.
that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like, hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, because
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. Nori's there. Nori knows this. And I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's fluff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go away. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. He didn't give a fuck. Like, you can tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party.
It all begins with the haunting and mysterious end of Aaron Carter, a pop star who, in his prime, captured hearts across the world. His untimely death in his own home shocked fans and raised more questions than answers. Found lifeless in his bathroom. The official report ruled his death, an accidental drowning caused by inhaling compressed gas. Yet, the whispers of doubt began almost immediately. Was this truly an accident, or was it a chilling message to those who dare to speak out against the powerful?
Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, but he did party. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was very
What does it feel like all these years, you being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
said you're a hater. They
You're a hater. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
It might come for
you see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This is what was going on. Right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh, shoot. Like, then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that. Look, so like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, that comes back, and it's like all of the problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because
Because of the priests.
The priest touching little boys.
Oh.
Why are we looking at me, bro?
I just go to church. I just go to church. I have nothing to do with this. I have an alibi.
That's why the Lord's allowing me to go that far back.
Turn away from you right now.
I was a Catholic kid. Why?
You've been dead. No. What's the body of Christ take?
It's sacrilegious. You can't do that.
He's like, yo, drink my blood.
So it is crazy when after 20 years they come out. That shit is foul.
Well, with Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
Yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only. Everybody else was scared.
Huh?
But everybody else was scared. So you think maybe this is a similar thing where everybody else is scared? I don't know what it is. I'm just
I
asking.
think they're scared.
But if they're scared, then
But
maybe
you've
that's
been
what I'm thinking.
insinuating Jay-Z a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you've been saying people gonna come for him a little bit.
No, I
been
thought he would do funny, funky stuff like the Super Bowl. Like it was not okay for me to be at the Super Bowl.
Oh, he tried to cut that.
Yeah, he didn't want me to. Well, they worked to make like there was an issue with me in the NFL that doesn't exist.
And so
then-
he did the corporate way of
Yes.
trying to keep you down.
I'm
Oh, it's
doing
not me. It's not.
It's them. And then when M says he's not gonna do it if I'm not there,
Let's go.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm
What's
talking
your
about.
and Jay's issue?
It's just competitive stuff.
It's
for me.
really just
This is what I'm saying. When it gets past actual art, like actual music, and you're trying to block something that's in business, then it feels weird. It feels like we should be having beef.
Oh,
Okay.
So
I
that's
can
the
see
behind the scenes thing that we don't see. It's one thing when there's like people talking about each other in music, but there's behind the scenes business.
Like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like your value went out. Like not as hot as you was last week when everybody was excited. And said it feels different. Like like they're saying you lost. Like you get a phone call, even he's like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop, and I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off my phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman, they run Interscope down, but they like at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get the call. You go, what did you? Man, get the fuck off my phone.
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye, like y'all went on this whole who's gonna sell, and that first week Kanye did sell more.
Yeah.
But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah.
But you were like, nah.
Big, look. From a consistent sales history, I have the sales history. Interscope didn't do everything Def Jam done for Kanye's number to come back like that. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assume Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happened. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit. They did it.
So you feel like it's valid on that point? Like, yeah, they did that.
I understand why you would do that if you was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop,
Right.
there's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that I didn't sue for that.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to beef?
No,
Nothing's out of bounds.
nah.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like Kendrick's going to Toronto for 2 nights.
And it's probably gonna be lit.
Right.
The show's gonna probably be fucking lit. Like, what do you think is gonna happen there? Like, the energy is. You got people that like both of them. They're not gonna switch and just say I don't like both. These are the top artists in our culture right now. Like, are the new. This is prime time. Like, this is the new.
Have you ever felt a certain way when you would beef with somebody? Like, damn, this is a lot. Or
You know what? If
did you really buy Ja Rule's tickets, like seats at his concert?
You did. Cheap tickets. The tickets were very.
Everything starts with the enigmatic and haunting demise of Aaron Card, a pop star who in his prime won hearts all over the world. His sudden death in his own home shocked fans and left more questions than answers when it was discovered that he had drowned accidentally after inhaling compressed gas. But doubts started to surface almost immediately. Was this really an accident, or was it a terrifying message to those who dared to speak out against the powerful?
Like StubHub. Yeah, I bought the first 4
How many did you buy? If you say you bought the first 4 rolls, is that a couple hundred?
Yeah, it was cheap though. It was cheap tickets, so it's something to do. Like if you don't look at me like that, man.
All right, man.
We know for years. It's just I looked at it. I said, "Yo, this is the." I just want you to feel like you gotta reach the people. There's like 4 or 5 rows back.
What is this? That 2 decades later, it's still this.
No, I mean, it's not that big of a sacrifice for me. Now, I've bought things that mean less to me.
Right.
That was fun. That was like watching it. Let me see the show and see the spaces are empty. Because they are reserved for someone else. They're not supposed to be sitting. That's brutal. That's so brutal.
Man, hey man, Fat Joe in the World Series. We just recently had Fat Joe in.
Yeah.
And Fat Joe came in, man. And first off, he said, "Man, I'm wearing my ass kisser outfit." He came in like a purple hoodie,
Some Laker gear.
with some. But you know, and Joe's my guy. And at one point, you and Joe wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
And he explained that too about with Chris Lighty, and you know what I'm saying. Like you just see things that in due time, grown men came together, and y'all really like even Buster.
Yeah.
Like and Bust went out with Final Lap.
Yeah.
But it was that one time where you and Fat Joe like y'all weren't cool.
Yeah. And it's look, Joe's the kind of guy that you want to be friends with. He's loyal to a default.
Right.
All right. And at points, like if that person's not, if you don't have the connection with them, you're going to just not like it. Because you're going to be like, what's wrong with
Right.
them? Like you don't have an issue, but it seems like you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Association.
If a person's uncomfortable with your success, then they shouldn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
All right. And at that point, that's what I was getting off him and that vibe. So I'm just like, nah. And I didn't not invite. I didn't invite these situations, but I didn't
run away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would look and go, oh, so you want a problem? Is that what you want?
Hey, man.
I was already in mode for that. Like the vehicles is bulletproof and bomb-proof and everything, and I'm like, what? I'm already geared up for the whole thing. So it's like I'm like, oh, you thought you was like different.
How can that happen with Buster, Fat Joe? Is the gyro, is it deeper?
No, it's the same thing that you see Drake experience. So how did he just have... This is the op page.
Right.
He was just winning consistently.
They were blocked by his house sitter, who acted in ways that raised suspicion, locking doors and preventing anyone from entering. This erratic behavior has only added fuel to theories of foul play.
Talking about that breaking news before the break, we're just learning that a judge has denied another one of rapper Sean Diddy Combs' requests to be released on bail. Remember, he's behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn waiting for his trial to get started next, showing this for us. We were waiting for this decision. We got it in now. What do we know?
All right, well, it's 5 pages, and the takeaway here is that the judge is saying that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. And that was what New York prosecutors were saying. I was in court twice last week, and I listened to these prosecutors say that he was a danger to the community, and they showed that video, that surveillance video of him from 2016 brutally beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, saying that he has a propensity to violence, and that alone is a reason why we cannot agree to the proposed bail package. Now, his team had offered $50 million, a home of his in Miami as collateral, and they said that he would live in an apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side, monitored by 24-hour security, that he would only talk to his attorneys, that he would only have, certain family members on a pre-approved list, and that, he would actually be under stricter conditions than he is at the jail in Brooklyn. But clearly, this is the third time this judge not buying it.
What was Diddy like in court? You were there twice last week. What was his demeanor like?
I mean, he was smiling on Friday, turned around and looked at his children. All of his children were there except for his infant child. His mother was there. He looked a little thinner. He looked a little worse for wear. But he has seemed upbeat and positive. And a few days earlier on Wednesday, so a week ago today, his legal team had a win, because his team was able to say that New York prosecutors wrongly obtained 16 pages of notes from his jail cell during a routine sweep, that it had his defense strategy, it had witnesses that they planned to call at the criminal trial in May, and the judge agreed that those should have been protected under attorney-client privilege. So there was a feeling today among reporter friends of mine and people in the building here that, maybe there's a chance that the judge, given he's taking several days to think about this, he asked for both sides to write a letter, that he might release him. But this is the third time. His team, we're waiting for a response from them, from his legal team. They could appeal again. But we were talking to Danny Savalas earlier, and he said, they would have to propose something new and different to potentially be successful for a fourth attempt.
Thank you for being.
And then there's
It all started with the mysterious and enigmatic death of Aaron Carter, a pop star who in his prime won hearts all over the world. His sudden death in his own home shocked fans and left more questions than answers. His body was discovered dead in his bathroom. The official report claimed that he drowned accidentally after inhaling compressed gas, but doubts started to surface almost immediately. Was this really an accident, or was it a chilling message to those who were in the news? CNN's Karis.
With some breaking news, a federal detention hearing for Sean Diddy Combs has just ended, and CNN's Kara Scannell is outside the courthouse in New York. Kara, obviously, this is a huge case. What just happened?
Yeah, Jake. So the magistrate judge overseeing this hearing today has remanded You're saying that he has taken voluntary steps, including turning over his passport to his lawyers, saying he would report any of his movements to prosecutors, but the judge finding that that was just not enough. She said, my concern is that this is a crime that happened behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring. So she said there was nothing that his lawyers had offered that made her feel comfortable that he would return to this courthouse for subsequent court hearings and for a trial. She said that it was both his when he was using drugs and alcohol, that was the reason why she couldn't trust that he would not commit any additional crimes while he was left on bail. So Sean Diddy Combs is not going to be walking out this door. He is in federal custody, where he will be unless his lawyers are able to convince a different judge to release him.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to any type of alleged the reasoning around all of this, his alleged motivation as presented in that indictment by the government is for his own personal gratification. And that's just the strangest type of indictment I've ever seen. But I agree with you. This indictment.
Photos of a young Aaron Carter alongside Diddy have resurfaced, sparking disturbing questions. Was Aaron just another pawn in a larger, more sinister game? Rumors suggest that Diddy and his associates may have victimized Carter as a child, exploiting him at industry parties while introducing him to harmful substances. These allegations paint a grim picture of an industry that preys on the young and vulnerable.
Reads, it's very disturbing. The facts presented are out of a very bad Hollywood story, and a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles, and the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named freak-offs, and there seems to be a ton of evidence allegedly tying this scheme together. So it's an interesting way of prosecuting it, but I understand why they did it that way.
So what did you make of what Elizabeth Wagmeister just reported? And obviously, Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys are going to get their day in court. But the idea that the government, in their characterization, does not say that anybody did any of these things non-consensually. What do you make of that?
I make of that as being a big flaw already in the government's case, which the defense was quick to point out. Even if he was engaging in this alleged conduct, there was no allegation or no statement in that indictment saying that any of these alleged victims or alleged witnesses willingly participated in some of these acts that people find offensive, that sound to be offensive. And that's a very important part of the case. What was the consent? But there are enough charges here where outside of what the alleged victims are going to say about how he was using the resources allegedly from his enterprises, his businesses, his well-known Bad Boy Entertainment, his clothing line resources, his liquor line resources. Allegedly, there were funds used from that resources to engage in this alleged prostitution activity across state lines, and that's why it's a federal case, because it's across straight lines. So there are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there's enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
So the Office of the Southern District of New York seems awfully confident about their ability to handle the scope and complexity of the case. But still, why do you think it took them so long for them to go after Combs, considering they allege his crimes have been going on for more than a decade?
My theory is that the government had an easy time putting together this final prosecution because of all the civil actions existing against Sean Combs right now. The case with Cassie, which that video was shown, his former girlfriend, where he was seen assaulting her. It looked like certainly that he was assaulting her on video. I think the government and investigators were able to accumulate all this easy evidence that was just handed to them from the attorneys who prepared the civil cases that are now pending against him. I think things just started piling up, and eventually Sean Combs got to a place where his luck ran out, and therefore he was indicted and arraigned.
Stacey Schneider, thanks so much.
Social media posts and public appearances revealed a man who was tense, openly expressed concerns about his safety, and described his home as a place of unease. In one particularly unsettling video, he spoke of feeling threatened and begged the world to listen to his cries. These weren't the words of someone carefree, rather they were the cries of someone who was afraid for his life. Dudes are having sex with other men, bro. I'm saying things like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to?